Alright guys, today's video, I'm going to show you the exact workout that I used essentially when I started trying to build muscle to become a pro fitness model. This is a basic high intensity training workout that can really be used by absolutely anybody. And if you do this workout correctly, you will see the same, if not better, muscle growth with just 2 workouts a week. Okay? Now to a lot of people, that might sound insane, but I'm going to show you today how to do it so that way you can get the best results with as minimal time in the gym possible. Okay, so the first workout, the first exercise I'm going to do here is going to be the chest press. Basically, I'm going to work all the major muscle groups of the body. Very basic exercises, nothing too technical, nothing too crazy. But the goal of this workout is to take every muscle to absolute muscle failure. That's the principle behind high intensity training. I'm going to show you what that looks like, all right? So, first exercise, what I always like to do is just a little warm-up. Now keep in mind, warm-ups aren't necessary for every exercise unless you're doing a technical movement. And the reason I'm using these cloths here is because this grip gets really sweaty. Your hands will tend to slip. Generally, you want to align the handles to where they're at your chest level or even slightly below. If they're too high, you're going to be recruiting more of the front deltoid and less of the chest. And you can literally put your hand on your chest and feel this. When I come down, you feel more tension in the chest. When I come up, you feel more in the front delt. So you always want to keep your elbow slightly down, hands at about chest level. So I'm going to start with a warm-up. It's almost psychological. Nobody wants to jump off the street and do a workout to absolute failure right away. You can do that if you want. But in terms of a warm-up, basically we just want to, get your heart rate up a little bit. Things moving, I guess. But honestly, it's really just psychological. And once you do a warm-up on the first exercise, you don't need to do any more warm-ups. So I'm just going to do kind of a light set, thinking about the mind-muscle connection, the range of motion. Now notice I'm not using an extreme range of motion. You might see people come this far back. Despite the common assumption in the fitness industry, loading a muscle in a stretch position does not provide additional muscular stimulus if your sets are taken to a high level of intensity. So I will not be stretching. I will use what's called an effective range of motion. And believe it or not, all ranges of motion lead to the same muscle growth. Okay, more range of motion is not better. And loading muscles in the stretch position actually increases the amount of shearing forces on the connective tissue, potentially leading to injury. So that's why I'm going to keep the range relatively short. So what I'm going to do here, just 1 set to failure. I like to go anywhere between 6 to 10 reps. And once you get to failure, you've provided the best stimulus for your muscles to grow. Any additional sets past that are not going to provide any additional benefit or any noticeable benefit when it comes to muscle hypertrophy. All right, so let's go. It might be a good trick for you guys getting some small rags, because I don't know about you guys. Here in Tampa, Florida, your palms get really sweaty, tend to slip. You have to adjust your grip. Nobody wants to do that. The good thing about this machine here is I can start in a safe position. A lot of machines, if you're starting here, you'll notice a lot of people do that to get it in position. Not safe. My rep cadence is going to be relatively slow. About 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down. Starting slowly. Head and neck in a neutral position. Now don't be too concerned with rep speed. As long as the negative is controlled, you can really do what you want on the positive. I just prefer to go a little slower. Focused on loading the target muscle group, which in this case is the chest. Notice I'm changing direction slowly at the bottom, not popping out. Ooh, so that's what failure looks like. Now, if you're a newer guy, you may not get all the motor unit recruitment you need in that first set, in which case I'm going to show you a good thing might be to do a drop set, because it takes a lot of practice learning how to recruit as much muscle as you can in one set. So one set is generally the best case scenario, but if you have to do additional sets to really fatigue that muscle, feel free to do them. So I'm going to show you. Drop the weight, just go for another. For new guys, this is probably going to be what you want to do. There's no point in resting in between sets. All right, so notice when I reach failure, I'm continuing to contract for a couple additional seconds until the weight starts to come back. And that's how you know you really reach failure. You never want failure to be abrupt. You never want it to look like this. Go up for a rep, you come down, you go, and then set it down. It's not failure. You want to approach failure gradually, which means the last couple of reps, your rep speed is going to slow down. There's something called the force velocity curve. In order for your muscles to produce a lot of force, the bar speed, or the speed of the load, has to decrease to allow the nervous system to recruit motor units and for cross bridging in the sarcomeres to occur. This is why you cannot lift a heavy weight fast. So at the end, your last couple of reps are going to be a little bit slower. You're just going to fight through them until your muscles completely die. So one exercise for chest, we're going to go on to the back. All right, so for the row, when it comes to the handle you're choosing, it really doesn't matter. I like something a little more narrow, neutral grip. You know, you can go wider, you can go more narrow, you can go underhand, you can go overhand, it doesn't really matter. But if you're in a neutral grip, you're gonna have more contractile force in your biceps. It may help you truly stimulate your back a little better. Now this one I'm not gonna do warm up. I'm just going right into the working set. Now with these, I see a lot of people swinging as they do this. Basically your body is performing lumbar extension to help move the weight, get the rep up, while reducing the involvement of the mid-back muscles you're trying to work. So it's like a thing your body tries to do to cheat. You're gonna notice my body is gonna be perfectly upright, and I'm gonna be squeezing the muscles in the back. Remember, the goal of an exercise is not to lift the weight. The weight's just coming along for the ride. The goal of the exercise is to use the load to contract your muscles very hard, recruit motor units, and stimulate those to grow. Whether or not the weight goes up and down however many times, completely irrelevant. So you can start slow, keep yourself in position, your body upright, trapped. Notice I'm not fully lengthening my arms here. In order to keep tension on the back muscles, you want to keep your scapula retracted at all times. Ooh. Focus on the contraction. Ooh. So think about this, guys. What I notice a lot of people do is they try to hold back on their sets in order to be able to do more sets. People get to the point where it gets really difficult and will stop it. They'll think to themselves, well, I got to do 3 sets of this. If I take this all the way to full failure, I'm not going to be able to do the extra sets. Well, the truth is, the amount of sets you do has almost nothing to do with muscle growth. It's how the set is performed. The more intense the set is performed, the more muscle you're going to stimulate to grow. So it's actually backwards. You want to train as hard as you can and adjust the volume to accommodate that, not the other way around. I see a lot of people swinging this exercise too. You're just cheating yourself. If you're swinging weight up, you're using momentum to help the muscle move the weight. We don't want to help it. We essentially want the muscle to suffer. Pause at the top. Control that negative because your muscle fibers are contracting on the lowering phase too. I'm going to do a drop set on this one. Drop the weight really quick, right after it. Probably only get 3 to 4, then I'll know the muscle's destroyed. Yeah. So how do you know if you need a drop set or not? Well, as you can tell, I did the first set to failure. On the second set, even though I reduced the weight by 50%, I could only get 3 reps. That's an indication that the first set is probably all I needed, because I weakened the muscle so much in that first set, couldn't even tolerate to do the second. So if you're doing 2 sets, drop sets, whatever, and you get to the point you can't even really do the second set, it's time to cut it back to just 1. Now when it comes to equipment selection, as you can see here in MI40, there's a million different pieces, and they're all pretty good. Generally, the selectorized machine, so when you take the pin out, put the pin in, if it's a brand like Life Fitness, Magnum, Precor, or my all-time least favorite, Star Trek, it's generally not ideal because there's a lot of friction in between the guide rods. Magnum, Flex, Nautilus, let's see, Atlantis, those are all very good brands. So if you have access to those, use them. But if you don't, you might be better off using hammer strength pieces because there's no friction, or even free weights and barbells, even bodyweight exercise. Some selectorized equipment can be just downright awful. But since this one is good, I'm going to use it. So this is going to be the pull-down exercise. You could just as well do a cable pull-down. But since I have access to good stuff, we're using this. Now keep in mind, these last reps, I'm pulling as fast as I can. I'm just changing direction slow. Now eventually it gets to the point where when you've been training long enough, you'll get so good at recruiting muscle once you get the hang of, that mind-muscle connection, you're pushing yourself. You really wouldn't be able to tolerate more than 1 set apiece. So I'm going to do 2 just as a demonstration, again, of how much 1 set can weaken your muscles. And remember, the goal of exercise is to simply weaken your muscles. That is the stimulus for growth. Your muscles become weaker through exercise because you're stressing and fatiguing motor units. And when you do that, stimulate them to grow. So I'm going to show you a second one with a little less weight and show you you may not even be able to do a second. Go. See, that's how you know you only need one, because I lowered the weight by 60 pounds. We have 3.5 repetitions. But again, you guys may need 2. I would say start off with 2 to failure, minimal rest in between, maybe a drop set. But eventually you're probably going to get to the point where 1 is all you can tolerate. All right, so we did horizontal pushing movement. So that's all the anterior muscles in the horizontal plane. Did a horizontal pulling movement, row. We did something for the medial delts and the upper traps, raise. We did a pull down, vertical pulling movement. Now that's going to cover 95% of your upper body muscles. The belief that you need multiple exercises per muscle group is just wrong. So if I were to do this pull down for lats and then go do a pullover and then another exercise for lats, that's not going to improve your muscle growth. You've already stimulated through one movement. People are under the belief that the benefit is in the exercise. You know, this one exercise trains the lats a little bit differently than this other exercise, therefore I need to do all these different ones. That's just not how motor unit or muscle fiber recruitment works. As long as the exercise addresses the primary function of the muscle, which in this case is, humeral adduction, you're doing all you can do for it. The amount of benefit the exercise provides is predicated on how hard you push. So you can use virtually any exercise that addresses the function of the lats, whether it be any kind of pull down or a pullover, and they're all going to be equal, granted you're training hard, okay? So now we're going to work the biceps and triceps individually. These are not isolation exercises. They're merely exercises which reduce the relative involvement of all the other muscles, so you can focus on contracting those harder, so you can put more effort into them and stimulate more growth. That's the purpose of biceps and triceps exercises. And if anything, you only need 1 each, right? So let's just go do some biceps. I prefer to do just a basic curl. Now the easy bar is what I prefer to use. A straight bar, it's really going to twist and contort your shoulder joint and your elbow joint. It's because most people's carrying angles, you could test your carrying angle by simply turning your palms out and bending your arms in. If you have a wide carrying angle like this, you're not going to be able to do a straight bar curl comfortably or an underhand pull down comfortably. Most people have, what's considered a normal carrying angle. Some people are wider. Some people, however, have a very narrow carrying angle, in which case they could probably do a straight bar curl. But I like the easy bar in order to accommodate the carrying angle, because as you can see, it's a little bent. It's much more comfortable on the shoulders and the elbows. So I'm just going to do 1 set to failure of this. Squeezing at the top. Really feeling the muscles loading, contracting the way down. Now I've only got 10 pounds on each side because this is a heavy bar, so you can tell it's big. Now also notice how I terminate the sets. You're going to reach failure, and then you're going to slowly terminate the set. If you start dropping shit, it can be not only annoying to other people in the gym, it can also be dangerous. So as you approach failure, always want to gently terminate the set the weight down. All right, we're going to do the last exercise for this upper body workout, which is going to be triceps extension. It can be a cable, it can be a easy bar, it can be anything. I'm going to show you the difference in the handle selection with the triceps exercise. So I'm going with the V-bar. And the secret to the handle when it comes to triceps is the handle doesn't fucking matter. It's all exactly the same. You can test this by putting your hand on your triceps and supinating. Nothing happens. Therefore, palm position and hand position is irrelevant for the triceps. So you're just going to pick whichever handle you prefer. I find I have the most control with this one. And on the triceps, it seems that there is a pretty drastic sticking point in the cable triceps exercise. So I always recommend doing a drop set with this. So I'm going to do a drop set. To failure, drop the weight, to failure again. That's it. Now, very important to change direction slowly up here. You don't want to be that asshole swinging it around, because you're not helping yourself choose momentum. Drop the weight really quick. Go again. You'll notice on this one, if you do it at the end of your workout, you're going to be shaking. It's completely normal. And that's because all the other muscle groups are fatigued, so they're having a harder time stabilizing your body. So if you're shaking it, you're not faking it. So that's it. That's the whole upper body workout that I've been doing for the past 10 years or so. It may not look like much, but the thing is, it doesn't need to be much. It just needs to be intense. So what I'll notice after this workout, even though it was only about 6 exercises, I'm going to be completely exhausted later. I'm going to be exhausted tomorrow, and I'm going to be sore the next day. All from this short, intense workout. And if you feel like you need any more than this, chances are you're really just wasting your time. So if you want to save time and get way better results, go to goldenerasystem.com, download my program which shows you exactly how to do this. You get much better results in the gym, saving your time, your joints in the process.